Now, when you see turnouts like that in Texas, and you see hundreds of thousands of people around the globe actually taking to the streets and standing up to their governments, you know there's hope. It inspires me. It gives me hope that there's going to be end to this, folks. There is. That freedom is going to reign eventually. It's going to get there. We will prevail. We just got to keep fighting. Just like our friends up north have been doing. You see what happened over the weekend? Canadian truckers arriving in the capital there. Look at this. Thousands upon thousands of truckers. They've been making this drive in protest against the vaccine mandates and all the lockdowns in that state, and it's working. It truly is. The movement put together weeks ago through social media is known as the Freedom Convoy. And one of the main reasons for the protest is because on January 15th, their supreme leader, Justin Trudeau, required that all truckers coming in across the border or driving truck there must have proof of vaccination. And you know what really chaps my behind is that time and time again, we witness these tyrants like a Trudeau, like a Gavin Newsom, like a de Blasio did, like a Biden has. We see all these hypocrites violating and breaking their own mandates and restrictions. And it boggles my mind. How many times are we going to witness this until every citizen in this country or around the globe wake the hell up? How many times do the sheep, the robots, the mindless slugs staring at their devices, reading their MSNBC, how many times am I going to show you these things before you realize, hey, if the tyrants aren't following the rules, maybe it's because the rules are bullshit and you shouldn't be following them. In Webster's, I think today they should put, under the word hypocrisy, when looking for the meaning, there should be pictures of every Democrat and every liberal in charge of states or cities or this government who are caught breaking their own mandates. And so this week we bring you another prime example of the rules for thee, but not for me. Show the pics. Here we go. Who's that guy? That looks like Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and San Francisco Mayor London Breed, all doing what? Standing by Magic Johnson with no masks on their face. How dare you do that? Because if I go out, or God forbid my kid goes to school in this state, they have to wear masks 8 hours a day. Disgusting. Let's bring on our first guest before I say something that gets me in real trouble. Representing Florida's 17th District, Congressman Greg Steube. Greg, haven't seen you in a hot second. Where do I begin? Either with the truckers and what we should be doing in this country to stand up. I'd love to see our truckers descend on D.C. or on, once again, another prime example of rules for thee and not for me.
Well, I think it's interesting that you bring that up because as I was watching the playoff game last night, the very first thing that I thought about was, isn't this in L.A.? Isn't there a mask mandate in L.A.? And as the camera pans around and shows pictures of all these movie stars like Leonardo DiCaprio who had the mask down around his neck, I guess they think it still works if it's down around their neck and they still have it on their face. But again, what this shows you is that the far left know that what they're proposing on the American people is an outright lie. Because if they genuinely concerned about their own safety and they knew that cloth masks actually work, then they would probably be wearing them. But they know that they don't work, and there's scientific evidence after scientific evidence that show cloth masks do nothing to prevent the spread of a virus. We've even seen now pundits on CNN saying cloth masks aren't working for the spread of Omicron or any of the viruses. So finally, they're starting to say, oh, yeah, that's actually factual. So what it shows is they want to push on these policies on the American people that they know is scientifically inaccurate and not factually supported by the evidence.
Exactly. Let's talk about this massive rally up in Canada by thousands of truckers. Man, are they making a statement? Of course, Trudeau, I got COVID, plus his family went into hiding because they were worried about safety. So nobody's addressing these truckers. We've learned they've got enough money to keep these trucks parked there over 2 years if Trudeau doesn't act and reopen up that country. I think we should do something down here. What do you think?
Well, it does look like America when you're starting to see these videos. It looks like truckers here in America. And this is, for everybody's edification, this is Canada. This isn't the United States. This is not a large conservative plethora country. This is Canada, home of socialism and big government and all these type of programs. And you're seeing truckers being sick and tired of those mandates there in that country standing up finally. And finally, the people of every country, you see it in France, you see it everywhere where they're protesting because they're sick and tired of mandates and the government telling them what they can do with their bodies, the government telling them what they can put on their face, because they know scientifically after 2 years, it does nothing to prevent the spread of COVID. We're now seeing information out of Scotland where vaccines aren't keeping people from getting Omicron, where all of this factual information is coming up, and people are saying, you know what? Enough is enough. We're standing up for our freedom. We're standing up for our rights, and God bless them for doing that.
Yeah, at last check, Congressman, I saw at least 12 states still have some major lockdown mandate restrictions, whether it's proof of the vax, wearing masks, or all of the above. But there's at least 12 states in our union still doing this. And this is just, I can't.
Well, in our nation's capital right now, if you want to come and visit me in my office, there's a vaccine mandate in Washington, D.C., not based on science. I can't go to a restaurant. People that aren't vaccinated can't go to a restaurant. They want to show identification to get into a restaurant in the nation's capital, yet they want anybody and everybody, illegal immigrants included, to vote without an ID.
Yeah, but the elites are doing it, and we catch them like every other week on camera. And we show it. Of course, mainstream media doesn't show it, so the majority of the herd, the sheep out there, don't realize that their feckless leaders are breaking the very damn rules that they're following. I don't know how we get the word out, because all this is being censored. We just have to keep charging ahead, keep fighting. Greg Steube representing Florida 17th. As always, thank you for coming on the program. Take care,
Thanks
sir.